Hey, what's up guys? In this video, I'm going to talk about the top line revenue numbers for Florida Turf Pros, and I'm also going to give you some profit margin spreads that we're operating on here at the company. And while it's typically, maybe considered tacky to talk about numbers and that type of thing, you know what? I really don't care because right now there's a lot of misinformation that has been floated around on YouTube, unrealistic expectations for lawn care companies, and there's also people on the other end saying that there's no money at all in mowing. Furthermore, recently I was approached by a lawn care company in our area who has since went out of business, but last year the owner of that company came to me and he asked me about buying the business. I asked to look at the financials for the business for the last few years. It was a big business. It was 800 or 900 clients, big, and the top line revenue was big, but that business had work spaced all over town. He had all kinds of different equipment. The pricing was all wrong. The profit margins were almost non-existent. The business was in complete and utter shambles. Well, 2 weeks after he had approached me on buying the business, he is up at a Chamber of Commerce meeting in our area, giving a speech to the attendees on how to run a successful business. And man, I'm just sitting there like, dude, you have got to be kidding me, And I see that type of stuff, like to a small extent, I think on YouTube with people who are either just blowing smoke or they are just, just unrealistic about what you can expect. So again, I think a lot of people think that Florida Turf Pros is bigger than what we are. And I think there are a lot of people who think we're smaller than what we are and really have no idea where we're at. So I just wanted to go down this road with you guys to let you know, like, if you are following a similar business model to what I have implemented here in the last 4 years, this is where we're at financially. This is why I do what I do. And if you have a good head on your shoulders, if you're driven and will work hard in this industry, these are some realistic numbers of what you should expect for your business, okay? Florida Turf Pros, we are a $250 million lawn mowing business. We only service residential lawns and mow. We mow Monday through Thursday, and we get to cut grass about 8 months out of the year. We do a little bit of hedge trimming and some mulch installs, pine straw installs, occasionally some light landscaping stuff, but our bread and butter, about 80 to 85%, is mowing, okay? So you can sit there and do the math on that, but I will tell you this, our company operates on 29% profit margins, and that is after I pay myself a very healthy salary from the business, and after I pay all of our employees by far better than any other lawn care service in the area. Now, those of you who look at 29% profit margins and think that that is not a good number, or that you have a much better number than that, I would like to just go ahead and say you are probably not operating a real business, all right? You're probably not paying payroll taxes and doing all the things that you are supposed to be doing with employees. And those of you who run a legitimate business and think that 29% is an unrealistic number, or it's either an outstanding or unrealistic number, I want to share with you how we were able to get that spread. Guys, keep in mind that I am running a relatively small business with 2 small crews. I have almost no overhead. I run my business out of my home and out of a storage unit, okay? I want a shop bad. I want it so bad, and I've almost pulled the trigger on it a couple times. But I've always thought about ROI, return on investment, for my business, okay? And right now at our business's life cycle, I just cannot justify doing that. So keep in mind my overhead is almost non-existent, as well as that I have a good background and sound background in finance, okay? That is my background, okay? That is what I attribute a lot of our financial success to, is just being able to make good decisions with some of the numbers in our business. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is that if you are a solo guy, or if you are a owner-operator with maybe 1 or 2 crews, I want to share with you the actual business model that I use that has allowed me to achieve those numbers, and why I have not grown at an accelerated, exponential rate. We've been very steadily growing with very high profit margins, okay? And the reason is because I am very selective in the work that we take on. I say no to as much work as I say yes to. And then finally, at the end of the year, I will drop about 15% of our clients every single year, okay? I know that sounds crazy, and it was crazy to me in the beginning, but truthfully, guys, this is one of the best things that I do for my business, Because here's why. If you are a small guy or a solo operator, there comes a point when you can only do so much work. You are absolutely maxed out at max productivity. Now, you can raise your prices, but at some point, your market says, no more. You're not raising the prices anymore, and you are tapped out because you physically cannot do any more work, okay? That's what happens to a lot of businesses. You're left with two options. You either put another truck, trailer, and mowing equipment and more employees out on the road, or you figure out a way to increase the efficiencies in your business and increase the productivity and the production capacity of each of your assets, okay? Those are the two options. Put more trucks on the road or increase the productivity of your current assets, okay? I, for the most part, have chosen this every single year at my company and just constricted and bled out all the non-billable time here at my business. Guys, 29% profit margins is not going to be realistic as your company continues to grow. But again, I have chosen a more slow and steady and conservative route to growing my business. It is more important for me to have a $250,000 business with a good salary and high profit margins than it is to have a $1 million business that is in shambles with low profit margins. I'm not concerned with top line revenue if it is at the expense of my profit margin spread, okay? That is the key here at this business. So I'd like to share with you 3 reasons that I get rid of clients. Number 1 is if I'm constricting the service area that I am doing, and I look at doing that every single year. I've got rid of clients every year who are on the outskirts of our service area or it's taking too much time to get to them. Good people, good clients, I get them in touch with another good lawn care service, but that is reason number 1. Reason number 2 is if a client needs a lot of extra hand-holding, if it's the client who only wants the bare minimum cuts done, they want bi-weekly service, never want hedge trimming, never want mulch, and they're the client that, it doesn't rain in 2 weeks and they call you and say, oh, the grass hasn't really grown, I don't need you to come this week. You don't want those clients, man, and I get rid of all those people, okay, to make room for the good clients. That's the second reason. The third reason is if the pricing gets messed up on a client's yard. The most common example of this is if I price out a yard, let's say it's $45, and then at some point during the year, the client ends up putting a lot of trinkets in the backyard, they're planting flowers in the yard without putting borders around it, and then you have to be super careful with your trimmer and weeding around all these extra little obstacles. Now a 15-minute yard is taking you 25 minutes. And if I cannot get our per man hour rate appropriate on that yard, I will drop that client. I'll send them a price increase at the end of the year. And if I'm not able to get that number up, then they're let go. So again, constricting our service area. Number 2 is going to be if a client needs a lot of extra hand-holding. And then number 3 is if the pricing gets messed up. Those are the reasons that I drop clients every single year. Now, if I did not drop clients every single year, our business would be a much higher total revenue number than what it currently is. But my spreads, my profit margins would not be anywhere near what they are, okay? And the way I like to think about that is what I had recently seen with the tale of the 2 businesses in our area. One had a high top line revenue number who said yes to pretty much everything that came along. He grew exceptionally fast within 2 to 3 years. Me, I said no to a lot of work that came along and just kept focusing on a particular type property and then just wringed maximum productivity and efficiency out of my current crews and drove out all non-billable time. I took a more conservative approach, and I now have very, very good margins in our business. My business is relatively stress-free, and I have really, really good clients. And guys, that is the type of business that I wanted to build here at my company. So whenever you get on YouTube and you see people who are talking about $1 million businesses and whatever, guys, top-line revenue, it means absolutely nothing. What I want to know is what is your spread and how stressed are you? That's it. What is your profit margin spread and how stressed are you in your business? If they can't answer that with a straight face, something ain't right, guys. It's got to pass the smell test.